Hello, this is Lisa Hazard with We're All Psychic podcast. And today I am continuing the tarot lesson. So this is the second tarot lesson. I am in my she tent outside. It's a beautiful day. And today I'm going to keep these pretty short like I did the first one. I think it was about 13 minutes. This is another video podcast. And it is Memorial Day weekend. I believe it is the 30th. Never really know what day it is these days. So to recap the last video or podcast, I talked about the Major Arcana, and I talked about the suits, and I talked about the numbers. And I did leave out about the kings and the queens and the knights and the pages. I looked back at the video and realized I forgot about that. But those are just basically representations of like archetypal people. We'll get to that eventually. But in this podcast, I would like to go through the cards of the Major Arcana and explain like a little bit about what each one means. And if you remember from the podcast, if you did listen to the one before this one, the tarot lesson one, I think I called it, we're using the Rider-Waite Tarot, and we're starting with the Fool. So the Fool is number 0. And this is the guy who's taking the journey across the tarot. He's the one. He's the guy. He's the one, or she, but it's a guy in the picture with a dog. If you're a dog person, there's a dog. Yay. So the Fool is an opportunity. It's like the big opportunity. For me, it's a really great card. It's like one of the best you can get a lot of times. Sometimes it can be very literal. You're being a fool. And inverted, it can be that too. You're being foolish. It can be a lot of things. I think, I'll go through the reversals on this because if you're interested in the reversals, it'll give you some insight into how to use them. A lot of people are confused by that. And I was too when I first started reading tarot. So usually it's kind of like an extreme of what the meaning of the card is upright, or it's the opposite. It's a good way to think about it. So here we go. The Fool's taking his trip on the Major Arcana. He's taken his trip through the tarot. And with the suits, with our cups and pentacles and swords and wands, those are all the daily experiences that the Fool goes through. All the everyday stuff, all the big things, little things, everything he goes through. And these Major Arcana, the rest of them, are basically themes that he experiences or things that he realizes about himself. His goal is to get to the last card, 21, the world. And he starts off with 1, the Magician. And the Magician is about making something happen. It's about having an intention and making a plan and then implementing it. It's magic. See, he has a pentacle, he has a cup, he has a wand, and where's the sword? There's the sword. So he's got all the little guys represented, all the suits represented, and he's about to make some magic. So we'll get into symbols maybe later, but you can see there's a lot of symbols. But those are the ones you like to watch out for. But the Magician's great. So he's making something happen. So sometimes if you see him reversed, he could not be able to make something happen, or he could be doing something very bad with his personal power. So that's the Magician. So the Fool, if you're on his journey, he makes something happen. And we have number 2, the Priestess, the High Priestess. The High Priestess is about your intuition mainly. It's about anyone's intuition. It's about your higher self. It's about the secrets. It's about the mysteries. And in like some witch lore, I guess you could say, she would be considered the, let's see, we got the maiden, the crony, and the the 3. I am forgetting it right now, but she's the younger one in the 3 of the goddesses. So when I see this card, I usually think another thing I think of is the female who's closest to you, the most important female in your life. And she's in these, she has these pillars, BJ, and it does mean Boaz and Jackie. I can't remember what the J stands for, but it's not what you think with the BJ. She's just a nice girl. But so this is what happens with the Magician. He comes to his higher self, or he creates a female. So then we have number 3, the Empress. This is someone the Fool, the High Priestess grows up to be the Empress. The Empress is my favorite card personally. She's just lovely. I mean, she is creativity. She is 3, inspiration. She is the mother figure of the tarot. She is just full of just potential, and she makes it happen, just like the Magician. She comes from the Magician too. So, and if you want to look at her reversed, you could say lack of creativity, or maybe bad mothering, or not feeling good about yourself, or whoever you're reading for. If it's you, probably smothered, burned out, kind of stuff like that. But she's a powerhouse upright. She's you love her. You love seeing her. So then we come to 4, and this is the Emperor. He's about the government, sometimes authority, father figure of the tarot. From the Fool's point of view, he is like the law. So the Fool can come up to him and be like, oh, well, now we got to figure something out about structure. So like all these are processes that the Fool goes through. And now he comes up against the Emperor. Some people think of the Emperor as a dominating card, like he's gonna rise. But I kind of see that more like when he's inverted. That's where he'd be more forceful, or it could be a weak government or something like that, or a weak father figure. So after the Emperor, we have the Hierophant. He's like a priest. He is the like the doctrine and institution and the way of faith, but structured through religion, stuff like that. Not necessarily faith, but the man-made society around spirituality. And reversed, he can be maybe like a non-traditional healer, like a tarot reader, or he can be, up to no good, stealing money from the church, that kind of thing. Could be the system's broken. Could be your belief system's working for you. Take advice. This guy also means advice sometimes. And then we have the Lovers, number 6. So the Lovers is about unity. So here's the Fool. He marries someone, maybe, or she marries someone, or they fall in love. A lot of times it's mostly about romantic love, but it's also about being united within, united with who you are, united with what you believe in and what you're doing. So that's 6. That's the number of love. And if you reverse it, you can see there's a divide. There's a divide with the Lovers inverted. You're not, it kind of makes sense, the Lovers being a card for both being in love and understanding yourself and being united and kind of okay with, like, not just okay, I guess, just like all together with what you want, what you're doing, feeling all in, and then not feeling all in reversed. So it's like your heart and your mind are divided, or your heart's torn when it's reversed. So then after the Lovers, the Fool takes a ride on the Chariot. The Chariot is like a lot of people have different ideas about the Chariot, as do they all about all the cards. But for me, the Chariot is like, and it's number 7. It's about momentum. It's about taking control of the situation. Unlike the Magician, who makes a plan and then implements it and makes everything happen, the Chariot's like kind of bringing it back around where you want it to be. Sometimes it's travel. I mean, a lot of times in readings, it literally comes up as travel. So in this case, when it's reversed, it could be travel with problems. It could be you're feeling like you don't have any control, or you lack control and you can't get it back. You're gonna be unmotivated to take control. But a lot of it's emotions, just it's a 7. So it's kind of one of those active, waiting times. But this guy looks like he's pretty active, and he's driving this Chariot without any reins. He's got a lot of power. So then the next card we have in the Major Arcana is 8, and that is Strength. And this is the Rider-Waite. In some decks, you'll see that Strength and Justice are reversed, but in this one, it's 8, Strength. Strength is about gentle persuasion and taming our baser instincts. So the Fool at this point realizes, well, I've done all these things and I did all this control stuff. So now I'm going to try to learn the gentler side of life. So if you see this card in a reading, it might be, use your compassion, know, look at this woman. She's taming this lion. Oh, this lion's all happy about it. She's got this little thing, which I can never say, the infinity symbol. Lemniscase Sate. It's a cool symbol. Can't go wrong with an infinity symbol. Gives us all hope, the inevitable. And then in reverse, strength can be the extreme, you know, brutal, you know, really brutal, making someone do something, making yourself do something, being hard on yourself. It can be fear. It can be a lot of fear with strength reversed. So that's it. Oops, there goes some cards on the ground. Hey, we won't have Einstein. We might have Ouija come out, but I think I'm gonna leave this alone for this video. So after strength, we have 9, the Hermit. I love the Hermit card. This is about when the Fool goes off, and he goes off to explore his intuition, his insights, his knowledge, his wisdom, everything he's learned on his journey so far. And he's known as, if you see him in a reading, the Hermit, this is like the crony of the Witchcraft 3, the maiden, the mother, and the crony. I'm not doing it. I'm not getting it, man. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. But the Hermit is where the Fool goes off into retreat, and he gathers all his wisdom, and people come to him for advice, and they ask him all kinds of things, and he knows it all, and he only tells people who he thinks can handle it what the real thing is going on is, or the truth, or the matters of the situations. Reversed, it's an extreme, been in retreat too long, or it can be the opposite. Take your wisdom out, share it with the world. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune. Oh, and that's the one that felt, how fortunate. Oh, there it is. I just put him out of order. I thought the Wheel of Fortune fell on the floor. Nah, we got the wheel. So the whole story of the tarot really is the Fool riding the Wheel of Fortune. So the Wheel of Fortune goes round and round and round and round and round and round and round. And it's just, you don't know where you are on it. And it can be up, it can be down. And it's just kind of like the ups and downs of life, but in a major way. Like, this is a really great time in life. Sometimes it's a gambler's card, you know, you're going to win. And if you see it reversed, don't gamble. You're not lucky. It is a luck and fortune card too, not just about the cycles of your life, but that's the main idea behind the Wheel of Fortune, is the cycles of your life, the good times, the bad times. And then it rotates back around, and it's a 10. So it's a 1 and a 0, new beginning, an ending, and it's got a lot of interesting pictures on it. So that's where the Fool, that's what the Fool's doing. That's what he figures out at this, you know, at this point in the story of the Major Arcana, that everything's made of cycles. Which takes us to Justice. So the Fool has decided, you know, he wants to take this insight about cycles and the Wheel of Fortune to the law, the Justice. So if you see Justice in a reading, a lot of times it's about man-made laws, and it will be about legal issues sometimes. It can be about fairness and accountability too. Usually when you see Justice, what comes around goes around. Same thing with it reversed. Sometimes this is an injustice, you know. It let's say he went to jail and he didn't really do anything. You're gonna see this card. And let's say he went to jail because he stole something. You'll see this card. It's the way the law works. It's the Justice. So then we have 12, the Hanged Man. Oh, this is another one of my favorites. I love the Hanged Man. So look at that card. He's just hanging upside down from his foot. He got a smile. Not so bad. When you look at it upside down, what's going on? It looks all right. Doesn't look so bad. So the Hangman's about, it's number 12. It's a 3 when you add the 1 and the 2 together. So there's something inspiring happening here. He's up in his head. Well, he's down in his head. And he's waiting to get out of the situation. He's like, you know what? This sucks, but I'm going to find something good about this situation. And he'll be smiling, hanging upside down. It's not so bad. He's got a halo, it looks like. And you turn it right side up. So this card's a lot about getting perspective. And here he's getting perspective from somewhere else, maybe. So that's kind of how I see this card. Waiting, getting your own perspective. And here, waiting, finding someone else's perspective. A lot of people see this card as a sacrifice card. So then after the Hanged Man and he gets his new perspective, we have 13, death. Oh, terrify everybody, death card. It's really not that scary. Death is about change. And if you are afraid of change, then it's a scary card. And kind of interesting because, you know, I talked in the other video how fives are usually the big number of change. In this case, it's 13, and 1 + 3 is 4. So it's a card of service, something you have to do, something that needs to happen, change. This is like not wanting to change, not changing something that needs to change, or undying. Like it could be like in a reading, like undying love can be positive that way. It can also be the dead interfering or helping, interfering or helping, however you may see it. So the spirits are associated with this card. Next, we have 14, Temperance. This is a card that has a lot of different meanings. A lot of people think it's like combining, creating, and this is a 5 card. 1 + 4 is 5. This is really changing something. So you're getting yourself some balance. You're getting yourself some things put together, make them the way you want them to. You got your toe dipping in the water. You got all the elements. I mean, it's like this really peaceful card. For me, it's a faith card. It's about faith in yourself. And reversed is like some self-doubts and doubts in other people. Imbalances usually cause doubts, and balance usually causes faith. So then we have the exciting devil. The devil is fun. The devil is all right. The devil is temptations, restrictions. And usually you'll see this associated with like, I can't get away from him. Why? Because you're addicted to him. It's an addiction card a lot of the times. It's also, you need to have some fun cards sometimes. So, you know, you have to see the other cards around the devil to really figure out what it might be indicating for the actual reading, which of course, as I progress, I will make videos about how to do spreads and how to read, like for yourself. Right now, I'm just going through the cards. So if you want to learn them, maybe it'll help you out. And then reversed, it's like, you know, you stay away from the bad. There are, you decide, or the fool, the fool decides not to go down the road of temptation and debauchery. Sometimes he needs to. And then in the traditional story, you know, he does give in to the temptation of the devil, and boom, this is the tower. This is 16. A lot of people don't like seeing the tower because it's scary to some people. Look at that. It's pretty terrifying. And this big building, it's like got a gold dome, and somehow it blew up, and there's people falling out. And they don't look too happy about it, like the Hanged Man looked happy. So this is a card of like suddenly something out of nowhere happens, boom, and it changes everything. But it's not like the death cards, like you change something in the death card usually, or something changes that you have no power over. This is like some kind of like no power over it, but it's out of nowhere. It's something you don't expect. It's like a car wreck, you know, stuff like that. And reversed is so there are a couple of different ways to see this. I usually see it as avoiding chaos, whereas I see it upright as chaos. And remember, 1 + 6, 16. The 7 cards, teaching, learning, spirituality. This is where you really learn something with the tower. Reversed, it can be ongoing struggles too. So you can see it both ways. And then after the devil, we have the star. Who doesn't love the star? This is a lot of hope, lots of hope. I mean, look at that. After the tower, you gotta find something. So you find some hope. And the star, the fool finds hope in. It's about optimism, and sometimes it's about astrology or being a star in the public eye. It can be those things, and here is like it's not exactly hopeless, but it's like a lack of hope and some fears and anxieties when it's reversed. The star is a really important card, I think. It's like 17, so if you can get some hope, you add 1 + 7, you get 8. You take control of your life with just hope. And next, the fool encounters the moon. This is card 18. So the moon's got these dogs in the moon. If you remember, the fool had a dog. Yeah, so yeah, he's got 2. It's kind of a card about your subconscious self and what's going on in there. And nighttime, it can mean literally nighttime. A lot of the time when you're doing cards, you'll find they like to be very sarcastically and sassy and funny. Just yes, literally, it's nighttime right now when you're asking you stuff like that. But this is mainly about like exploring your intuition. Some people think it's an insanity card because of lunacy, but I see this one as a really good card. Something's hidden usually. If I see this card, I'll usually pull another card to see what's hidden. It's reversed. It's like something is revealed. You know, this is more where people will go with the madness theme when it's reversed. But to me, it's something like you clear your intuition and you clear your mind and you figure out what is hidden. So next we have the sun. Ooh, see, I got the sun back there, the sun and the sun. Ooh, look at the sun. So this is the sun. We got a little naked boy on a pony. And I got the sunflowers and the sun. They're always a happy card, 19. So the fool has achieved where he wanted to be. And he did it through exploring his intuition and the mysteries in the moon, figuring himself out with his hope. And he has good times with the sun. The sun's good times. Sometimes it's literally daytime too. And reversed, it can be the same thing. Most people see it the same way. Sometimes when I see this card reversed, I'll pull another card and I'll be asking, what are you shedding light on? It looks like it's wanting to shed light on something and pull another card. And this is 19. So when you add them together, it's a completion card. It's a 10, 1-0, a beginning too. And then after the sun, we have Judgment. If I can get it. Judgment is 20. That's a terrifying card, but it's not that bad. It's got an angel. Angels are okay. 20 is a hard number in numerology, 20/2. Read about that sometime. So Judgment's about, like, I usually see it as a legal card sometimes, or someone's having good judgment or not having good judgment, you know, when they're making a big action. And as a theme in someone's life, they think clearly, they make the right choices. The theme in someone's life, they tend to keep making the wrong mistakes or just using bad judgment or not thinking things through before they act. But in the story of the tarot, he's going to the place where you go after the sun. And finally, he does pass the final judgment and he ends up with the world, which is 21. And 2 + 1 is 3. And that's a card of inspiration and change. And oh, I love 3. And the world is supposed to be this really happy card. It's like everything works out. It's just how you want it. It's everything you wanted it to be. And I kind of think it's the end. I think it's a little sad of a card. I've talked about that before. And in reversed, sometimes it's like, if you want to see it literally, it's like till the end of the world, or the world is ending. Or it can be, you won't let go of something that needs to end, or you need to end it and you just haven't yet, something like that. So those are the major arcana for rundown. And I hope you liked the video. And I want to thank my sponsor, Everclear. You guys are awesome. Hope you enjoyed it. And I'm going to do some more with the suits, hopefully, maybe today. Who knows? Have a great afternoon, listeners. I appreciate you so much. And I will put a link to this in the podcast if this video works out. Let's hope it does. Thank you so much. Have a great day.